All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm your host, Jamie Young, and thanks so much for tuning into the pregame show today. We've got a big game coming up. We've got the Ottawa Senators versus the Leafs in the fourth round of Battle of Ontario. Gotta love it. I'm with Caribbean Dylan. He's in DR with J Dog. They're in the same building. Gotta love it. And we've got Mr. Sad Sens fan Brennan on the show as well. So a full house tonight. We've got a lot of topics to talk about, but going to run through about a quick 30-minute show to get you ready for tonight's game. Appreciate you tuning in. And if you like the show, smash the like button, join our Facebook group, subscribe to the show, tune in weekly. We've got a Tuesday show every week, basically, that's full of great NHL content. So just quickly going to get this set up here. So Battle of Ontario, it's the fourth game, last showing for the regular season for Ottawa and the Leafs. And Ottawa's had our number. On the 28th, they beat us 4-2. The Leafs won 4-3 the game before, but in the first meeting of the year, Ottawa won 6-3 on November 9th. So it's going to be interesting tonight. Starting goaltenders. We'll throw that up here. Just 1 second here. So the starting puck stoppers tonight, we've got Ilya Samsonov confirmed now. It wasn't confirmed earlier, but it is confirmed now. And then we've got Jonas Korpisalo. Samsonov, he's been struggling, man, but finally starting to turn it on a little bit. He's won a few games lately, but I say he's still pretty weak in my eyes. 9-4-6 for the year, 3.38 goals against average, and 879 save percentage. I don't know how he did it, but he's got 2 shutouts. I'm surprised. But we're going to throw it over to Dylan. Dylan, what do you think about the starting goaltenders? And how do you think that Korpisalo will match up against Samsonov tonight?
Yeah, I'm hoping Sammy can continue his ways. He let in a couple of bad goals against Dallas, let Dallas back in the game last game, and then gave up 3 against the Islanders since the break. So I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot of inconsistencies with this team when it comes to defense and goaltending. We know the offense is there. We know what we can expect from a high-scoring, high-powered offense, but we need Sammy to get back to his mid-season form here and show us what he's worth. The $4.5 million we're paying. As far as Korpisalo goes, I mean, he can be exposed pretty heavily, so the high-powered offense of the Leafs should be able to find some holes through that guy tonight, I expect. But you never know when this Ottawa team plays the Leafs. They seem to shift it into a different gear, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'll keep going with the conversation. I'll be throwing it over to J-Dog next and then to Brendan for their quick comments. But Joseph Woll placed on long-term injury as of yesterday. He was practicing, starting to feel better, and then all of a sudden they threw him on a long-term injury. So really worried about that for the Leafs' future for the playoffs. I got to say that Dennis Hildeby, last 4 games in the AHL, only 6 goals against, 110 saves, and a save percentage of .948. What's going on? Why haven't we called this guy up? Are we going to give him a chance? Does he deserve a chance? Let's hear from J-Dog. What do you think about Joseph Woll being placed on long term, and then Dennis Hildeby potentially coming up and being our backup? What do you think?
Well, obviously they're still trying to shop around Sammy, I think, and that's why they're trying to get him to play. I think this kid, would you say it was 947 percentage?
Yeah, 948 save percentage last 4 games.
I think he's the next real deal for the Leafs as far as goaltending is concerned. Wall's good, but I think he's still 2 or 3 years away from being a really solid goalie for all year. He'd be good for 30 games. I think he'd be a great backup. But as far as what we need long term, I think this Hildeby kid's the real deal. He could be a pylon at 6'7", and I think he's like 6'9" with skates or something like that. So like he's going to cover a lot more net as long as he keeps his movement under control. that kid's going to be. I think he's the next Leafs goalie. Why he's not brought up is because I think they're shopping Sammy, and they don't want to put Wall on the block. Because a lot of the tire kickers that are looking as far as trades are concerned, because everybody knows that the Leafs are looking to get rid of a couple players and bring in some defense and definitely a better goalie. Most people trade goalie for goalie and a couple of picks, or most teams do that. So I think that's going to be the reason why they're going to try and keep him off the table. They don't want him involved in any of the conversation because they know he's long term definitely going to be their backup, or he could still possibly be their number one goalie eventually.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move it on here. We're going to go to recent stats for Ottawa. I think they're important. And I'll kind of just pitch it here and then have Brennan take over. He's our Ottawa expert here and big diehard fan. So the last two games, 2 OT wins against Detroit and Nashville. They lost, though, 7-2 against the Rangers and then 3-2 against Boston. Two tough teams, right? But again, two great wins against Detroit and Nashville. Before that, they beat Montreal 4-1 and Philly 5-3. Their last 10 games, 6-2-2. So I find that they're on a little bit of a heater, beating Detroit and Nashville, and then also Montreal and Philly. Like Montreal, okay, well, they're not very good, but Philly's a good team, as well as Detroit and Nashville. Brendan, what do you think about your recent stats for Ottawa and how they're going to do against the Leafs? What are your thoughts, buddy?
It's interesting to see how a team can go so up and down as Ottawa does, and it all seems to come down to the same thing every time. It's not for a lack of firepower ever in Ottawa at this point. It's all about it's all on the blue line and between the pipes. And I think if they can kind of piece it together for longer stretches than just 2 or 3 games, you're right, a little bit of a heater going 6-2-2. Actually, that's a little bit better record than the Leafs in the last 10. I think they're 5-5 in the last 10.
They are.
And so, I mean, it'll be a good matchup. And just like every other time that they played this year, it's going to come down to the goaltending, right? And that's what it is. And let's face it, both sides are suspect. It could go either direction. You could see Corpy stand on his head. And it could be a goaltending battle for all we know with the inconsistencies with the goaltending with both of these teams. Who knows? It'll be exciting, though. I know I'm excited. Go Sens!
Ding, ding, round 4. Bring it on. Go Leafs, go. Big win.
This is my playoffs. This is my playoffs, boys. Not so fast.
It's one of those things that's going to be like,
we're going to talk about the Leafs. We're talk about Toronto.
The Sens are going to win. It's a blowout about Toronto.
We're going to bring it on. I'll bring it on over to Dylan right after. I'm going to kind of pitch the Leafs' recent stats here. So Toronto, yes, 5-5 last 10 games. Huge win against a great team, the Dallas Stars, on Thursday, 5-4 win. Got a little bit of beef. I'm going to throw it out there now. Nylander going for his third hat trick late in the game, or second hat trick ever. Late in the game, he ices the puck with an attempt to score his second hat trick, the third goal of the game. He had 2 more strides to go over the line. Like, just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Icing the puck late in the game. That was 5-3 at that point. Dallas ended up scoring a goal right after that to bring it to 5-4. So I think it was a knucklehead move by Nylander. But New York Islanders scraped by a 3-2 tough loss against the Islanders. Never want to lose to them. And then shot down the Jets 4-2 and a 1-0 win in overtime. So a big couple games against the Jets. But again, 5-5 last 10 games. I think the Leafs are starting to turn it on a little bit. I think that the positive things are going to be coming here. I think also massive, great fourth line play by Reeves in that line last game. I think they made a pretty big impact against the Islanders as well, banging and crashing. But anyway, we'll throw it over to Dylan. Dylan, what do you think about the Toronto's last 10 games?
Hopefully you guys can see me, sir. It's we're doing the Caribbean vacation this week, so there's no ice. There's no ice for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. I was hoping they could freeze over the pool, but at nighttime here at the resort where we're staying, but that's not going to happen. But anyways, no, I think here's what the Leafs need to do against a team like the Sens, a bottom feeder team. So, sorry, Brendan, but that's just where they are. I think what they need to do is they need to dominate, and they need to show their dominance. Look at a lot of the games that they lost this year. They're getting over 35 shots a game. They're peppering the net. A lot of high percentage chances, slot chances. How many times have you ever seen a player hit a post, then the puck hits the crossbar, then it hits the other post and does not go in? Guess
Twice
what?
this year
That
by the
happened
Leafs.
twice this year for the Leafs. Exactly. Matthews and Nylander, the two best players on the team, and tops in the league, and they're doing stuff like that. Like that goes in, and those kind of chances go in, and they blow the doors open, and that really affects a team. But when you allow a goalie like Korpisalo to make a highlight reel save or get lucky on those posts, or you're missing your shots, you're going to give them energy and momentum that they can take advantage of and keep the game close. And then, of course, you know how the Leafs are with their defense. They're porous. Every mistake seems to go into the back of their net, and their shoulders slump back, and they lose their focus and their ability to get the job done. And I feel like Keefe has a hard time motivating the boys on the bench too when that happens. So that makes me weary about the playoffs. So that's why I think tonight it's got to be a show of dominance. They got to come out there and prove to the fans that they are a number one contender in this league.
All right. I throw it over to J Dog and hear his thoughts on the Leafs and what their keys to success tonight would be. What do you think, J Dog?
Well, obviously in the game against Dallas, they really took advantage of the power play. I have to admit that Dallas's power play or penalty kill was suspect at best. They collapsed in the middle of the ice, but they didn't collapse on the sides. Like there was no adjustment to the way the play was being or like adjusted to. And to me, it looked like they were playing against a midget team when it came to the power play. But the 5-on-5 play was pretty good. Again, Marner's got to stop giving up the puck. If Marner can keep the puck, stop with these stupid behind the back, whatever type passes that he does, or these no-look passes that causes at least 2 goals per game, pretty much every game, or I'll say probably 75% of the games. I think that they have a chance because 2 goals on a team that can score 6, like when you have a team that can score 6, and it's not likely the other team is going to score 6 goals. I mean, and those are deflating. You're going one way, and with a possible chance to score, and then you make these arrogant, and I'll call them arrogant passes because he thinks he can thread the needle on every pass, and he can't. He's a great passer. There's no doubt. He's a great player, but his brain is, it's not functioning in all cylinders when it comes to hockey IQ when he has the puck. He's great when he doesn't have the puck. He's back checking well. He's blocking shots. Every other part of his game he's doing everything else except for that, and it's costing them a goal to 2 goals a game.
Brendan's familiar with that, with the Jason Spezza era. Hey, Brendan?
Yeah, I just think, and obviously goaltending is going to be an issue. The defense, I'm liking the way this Benoit kid's playing. He's physical.
He's sharp.
He's physical. He covers a lot of space very quickly. His stick's always in the lane, and he doesn't allow you any time. And he's tough. Like, he is tough. And he's found a spot on this team. I don't think they're going to trade him. I think they're going to keep him. I think they only need to bring in a guy like Tanev. They don't need to bring in another guy. They don't need to spend all this extra money, and they don't need to get rid of a first-round draft pick. They just need to bring in one guy, and that's someone like Tanev, because that's who they're looking at. They keep talking about it. I mean, get over it already. Get it fucking done, or excuse my language. Get it done, or get on to somebody else.
All right. My notes on the key success real quick on the Leafs. I'm going to throw it over to Ottawa. Power play is absolutely on fire lately. Leafs are fourth in the league on the power play with a 26.6 success rate this year. They've got to get the puck to Matthews, 61 points, 41 goals. Marner, too, on the power play. He's got 22 goals, 55 points. Nylander, of course, 35 goals, 65 points. And Tavares, 40 points, 15 goals. And these guys got to shoot the puck. On the power play, I think that we kind of mess around a lot of the time and move it around way too much. Start shooting the puck, especially at a goalie like Corpusalo. Shoot the puck on this guy. Also, stay out of the box. Leafs are pretty good, though, on the penalty kill this year. Last 10 games, 81.5%, 77% for the year. But the Leafs have killed the most penalties in the league with 108 kills this year. And that's just way too many penalties. It really is. So stop taking stupid penalties. Stay out of the box. I think it'll amount to a win tonight. Carry the puck into the zone, especially on the power play. Don't be jumping and chasing. I think it's silly. We've got really quick guys. We can carry the puck, keep the puck on our stick, keep the puck in possession, carry that puck over the blue line. Also, huge success tonight, I think, is clearing the front of the net in front of Samsonov. If we don't do that, Ottawa's got those sharpshooters, that can shoot the puck really well. To Chuck being one of them, as well as Stutzel. They can really shoot the puck really well, and Giroux. So clear that from the net. They're going to try and get a lot of traffic in front of them. Make sure to clear that net. And then that fourth line that I talked about earlier, they got to play nasty. They got to get out there and make an impact. Whether if they're not scoring goals, make those big hits. Hopefully, a couple fights tonight. The Battle of Ontario is normally rough. I really want to see a couple players drop the gloves tonight. I think it's time, our last meeting of the year. Let's get it done. But I'm going to throw it over to Brendan. Brendan, I do want to hear, what are your thoughts? If Ottawa's going to beat us again for the third time this year, what do they got to do to get it done tonight?
Well, I think it's going to come
Brennan,
down.
I just have a quick question for you,
Yeah,
Brennan, because
go ahead.
Maybe after this game you're switching teams because it looks like you painted blue and white in your back in your bedroom there. It looks like you got rocking the Leafs colors.
yeah, busted.
All right. Anyway, Brennan, go ahead. What do you think if Ottawa's going to beat us tonight? What do you think they need to do?
I think it's going to be come down to, it's going to be a physical contest, obviously, being the last game of the year, Battle of Ontario. These teams don't like each other. Historically, it's going to be physical. There's going to be penalties. It's going to come down to PK. It's going to come down to PK because I would say both teams are going to have at least one power play goal. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be chippy. It's going to be physical. A lot of minors, a lot of offsetters. I hope that there's some fights. I really, really do. Ottawa is not a fighting team, but I think the other thing, the key to success for Ottawa is having their big guys show up and play. Stutzel, for one, needs to show up, be physical, be a pain in the butt like he can be. He can. He's an antagonizer, and I love it. The grittiness of a Giroux, and just have him be as consistent as possible. And then our wild card, Tarasenko and Tkachuk, we got a strong power play. So just need to, I think if we can offset the power play to penalty kill and win that battle, I think it's an Ottawa W tonight, boys. Again.
All right. Yeah, my real quick notes on it. You got to shut down the four core. Ottawa, if they want to beat the Leafs, they got to stop Matthews, Marner, and Nylander, as well as Tavares. Tavares is playing really well lately. Got to shut down those four guys. Corpusalo is going to have to be good. He's going to have to be good to get the W tonight. He's going to have to be on his A game. You guys are going to have to play the ref like you mentioned. Throw the Leafs off their game. Stutzel, Tkachuk, Giroux, they must shoot the puck often, especially against a goalie like Samsonov. He lets in a lot of weak goals. If you guys can get a ton of shots on net, I don't know if Samsonov's going to get the win tonight, but I'm a Leaf fan, so I'll be cheering them on. You got to stay out of the box. 28th for the power play or for the penalty kill, 74.3% on your penalty kill for Ottawa. But if you're on the power play, you got to make the Leafs pay, and you got to get a goal. You're 23rd, 15.7 for power plays this year. Not too shabby, but really you've got to improve on that number tonight. If you've got 5 power plays, I'd say you got to score on 2 at least. But we'll see what happens, boys. This is a short show. If you ever want to tune in to our main show, search Keep Your Head Up Hockey Show on YouTube. It'll pop up there. Also, just ask around and you'll find us. Just even Google us. You'll be able to find us on YouTube as well as Spotify. On top of that, on Facebook, we've got a Facebook group. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going live. Sometimes we miss shows due to illness, travel, etc. But for the main part, we are Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube. Want to have you tune in. Any last thoughts, boys, before we end the show?
Rally cap early. Go, Sens, go, baby.
Let's hear from the DR boys. Any last thoughts? Maybe tell the group, what do you got going on today, Dylan? What's your plan?
Oh, we're going to tour the real, authentic Dominican Republic countryside here with J-Dog. He's going to show us around. He's been here for 20 months, so he knows the ins and outs. He knows the people, so that's kind of fun. And we're looking forward to the authentic Dominican Republic experience. And as for final thoughts, I'll keep it real short and sweet. Number one, I think the over-under on this is like 6.5, so they're calling for a high-scoring game. That's the forecast, and it will be. And the thing I hope for the most in this game is for the monkey off the backs, for a lot of Leafs players, for Tuesday, Domi, guys like that need to start pumping teams that are in the bottom half of the league, unfortunately for Brendan, and get some confidence from that. Even Tavares, I know he's coming back from – he's starting to score again, but the monkey's lurking. I use a huge monkey analogy because we're in the Dominican and in the jungle here. And lastly, Nylander, since he signed that contract, you got all that money, and let's start earning it. Let's go.
All right. Any last thoughts from you, J-Dog?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rout 6-2 Leafs.
Thank you.
They're starting to. No, I serious. I think it's going to be a rout. They're starting to try and prove points here. They're starting to click. The cylinders are, starting to actually be pumped in all four of them. They're not an 8-cylinder team yet, but I think that in the next probably, I'd say 3 to 5 games, you're going to see a whole different team. They're going to make that trade very soon. Obviously, I think that one guy will make a big difference defensively, and they're just going to run on 4 defense for the rest of the season to get where they need to be as far as finishing as high as they can.
Hey, Jamie, one more thing. We should shout out to the Core 4. Thanks, Core 4, for broadcasting the games because I could watch it in the hotel lobby while between my dancing and my drinking, and it's been pretty fun. So thank you, Core 4. Keep streaming those games and keep supporting the Core 4, everybody.
All right. Cheers, boys. All the best to you and yours. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on YouTube. And thanks so much for tuning in to your pregame show. Go Leafs, go! Let's have a good game.
Go Sens.
Battle of Ontario tonight.
Enjoy the cabaret, Dylan.
Take care, boys.
See you, Jens.
See you later, boys.
Rock and roll. See you, boys. Bye.